Greetings to you wherever you are. I hope this live meet you in good health and clarity of mind. Okay, before I go into this subject, I definitely encourage you to comment. Let me know if you hearing me loud and clear. I want to know if the reception, is good and everything before I dive into this juicy subject based on what is happening on the planet right now. So I'm looking forward for your comment. Okay. So I would proceed because I know that you're hearing me loud and clear and the visual is good. Okay. Now, this subject is based on what is happening in the world right now. And I'm asking a very important question to the world because I want to expose the narrative that has been given to the world for so many years. You see, if you chase all the way back to a man moving from place to place on his feet, then start running, and then he start to ride a horse. If you trace it all the way back from there, you would realize that everything that has ever been achieved, everything that has ever been accomplished in this world, you would realize it is first mental. You'd realize it is first psychological. You would realize that it had to first be a thought or first an idea in someone's mind. Okay. Now, to understand the things that I'm going to say from here, to show you why the narrative concerning this war, where they want to tell you is the fulfillment of prophecy, how it doesn't really make sense unless you realize that everything that happens in the world is a fulfillment of what is going on in your mentality. So if you get what I'm going to say here, you will be able to see the lies. You see, every event that is taking place on this planet, it is the expression of the people's mind or their mindset. If you get that, then you will realize all these different religious books, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bible, whether it's Sanskrit, what doesn't matter which religion it is, you realize that it is all mind science. So the main message I really want to get across to you people, it is because when you understand the mind and how the mind works, you could foretell the future, or what they call the future, because there is no past and there's no future, there's only now. So when you understand there's only now, and you realize that time isn't real, and you realize that everything is mental, everything is psychological, okay, everything is created twice, first in the mind, and then it been expressed in this outer three-dimensional world, then you will realize that you being spirit, you operate in the element of earth, wind, water, and fire, the tangible things, okay? And once you have that understanding, you would realize, okay, that the implementation of money, it was the fulfillment of prophecy. The invention of the automobile, it was fulfillment of prophecy, because it's the expressions of people's mentality, where we are psychologically, where we are living psychologically. The invention of the aeroplane, it was a fulfillment of prophecy, because why? You're a prophetic being. When you understand that imagination is what creates reality, when you realize that all is mine, don't make it fool you. Every war that has ever been fought on this planet, it is the fulfillment of prophecy. There's no specialized prophecy for no country. There's no specialized prophecy for any sect. There isn't any specialized prophecy for any president or prime minister or any country. This whole entire experience that we are experiencing here, it is the expression of the invisible world being expressed in the visible world. So when you deny your invisible self, which is spirit, your non-physical self, you're going to believe the narrative. So right now, Israel and Iran and America, they are doing what they were doing for so many years. Propaganda. So each and every one of them is using propaganda because there's power in language. Okay, that's why those who control social media, they want to decide what you should say and what you shouldn't say. Okay? Because there's where the power is. So when they say, oh, Israel and Iran, this is prophecy. So here what happened? The religious and superstitious, brainwashed, delusional people who get trapped in Israel's strategy to colonize their mentality, they're going to say it is the fulfillment of prophecy. And those on the Islamic side, they're going to say the same thing. And then it can be one-sided. It can be biblical prophecy and it is not Quranic, if there's such a word as Quranic, okay? Or Quran prophecy either. The Hofi prophecy, the Hindu prophecy, the Chinese, whatever they call their belief system, okay, their prophecy. Because everything written in these books is the mentality of society. My brother, my sister, please get it. Everything that read in the Bible, in the Quran, and all of these books is what is happening in any society and what happening in any and every society, because every society is the expression of mentality. Ooh, this is so sweet. So you go in Russia, it's all mine. You go in China, it's all about the mind. You go in Africa, it's all about the mind. So if you lose the battle in the mind, you lose the war here. Because the war for survival is survival of the fittest. So don't make they brainwash you with prophecy. They're keeping a religious and superstitious mentality when they're just trying to save the money system. America is trying to save the dollar. And the reason why they have to try to save the dollar is to save the empire. Okay? You see, when you understand gold, diamond, oil, and all of these things, okay, who put them in? Where they came from? Tell me. They're all a replica of that which is within you. You know that there's a certain oil that is within you? Do you know that there's a gold mine that is within you? Do you know that there's a transportation and a telecommunication system within you? Do you know that you have what they call a nervous system, and your nervous system controls everything? Well, just so America and Israel want to control everything. So just as the body have a nervous system, and if you could control the nervous system, you could control reality. So too America and Israel want to do the same thing. But brother, my sister, there's nothing new under the sun. That's why they switch the SUN and give you a SON. So ask any religious person talking about prophecy to make it make sense. Make it make sense. When you're talking about Israel and you're talking about, oh, you fulfillment of prophecy, make it make sense. And the reason why people like to talk about prophecy is because that they believe that there's someone on the outside who's a prophet and fail to realize their own prophetic self. My friend, do you remember when you had a certain desire to achieve something and there was a certain feeling inside of you, and you hold to that feeling, and then you see the manifestation of that thing, and you fail to realize that you're a spiritual scientist walking by divine, infinite laws? Do you realize that they try to make you believe that science and technology and spirituality is different. Do you realize, okay, that Israel and America and so on, one the thing that they want to achieve is to kill all of the brilliant minds in Iran, those who could make weapons, those who know physics, those who know chemistry, those who are well informed. Okay, you think they're after the sheep in Iran? And when I say sheep, right, you have to realize in Christianity, okay, the people call themselves sheep, and a sheep is the dumbest animal on this planet. And as a melanated person, when you call yourself a sheep and say you're in a flock and you say you need a shepherd, what kind of shepherd they give you? You know, it's a blonde hair boy they give you. You know, it's Israel that colonized the whole of Africa, and Israel colonized the whole of the Caribbean and so on. And they tell you it's England and America. And no, those are just the little proxies of Israel. Do you know that these people come from all over Europe, and then they form a nation? And you know, if you chase it back, you see the old Roman Empire, and people serving the Roman Empire. And you know how the Roman Empire hide itself? By teaching you about the empire, you know. So you talk about the empire, but you never really discover that is the empire you're talking to. Like, let me give a little examples of what I'm talking about. For example, you might watch a movie, right? And a man might be working with the CIA or the FBI and so on, right? And they want to get the boss of a cartel, okay, a drug lord, and he disguises himself, okay, as a buyer, okay, and he find men to get him closer to the boss, the cartel boss, and so on, right? Because he's trying to work a deal, okay, and he's acting as a buyer. That's what Israel doing, you know. That's what all these religious nations doing, you know. That's how they control their population, you know. You have to understand that. That's why if you're going to pick side and talk, oh, is it fulfillment of prophecy? You don't ish. And most melanated people, unfortunately, they be kept dotish through the Israeli theology that they give them. Okay? That is why, unless our people wake up and realize the enemy in plain sight, they will never be free. Africa is who have the real money. The rare earth minerals, the oil, the gold, the ivory from the elephants, all of these different things. Because when you understand real money, you will see that they take paper and steal your energy to give value to it. That's why there are people who come on the internet and will say, oh, I don't want to say certain thing because they could ban me, they could do this, they could do that. You see all they care about money. I see a man who look like me and hear him talking and then he's talking that kind of shit, telling himself so short. That's a man who have a poverty mentality. So he's saying, oh, I have to be careful what I say because they could ban me. I don't give a damn. I speak the truth. This ain't no Israel prophecy. This ain't no Iran prophecy. There's no such a thing as no prophecy the way how they want you to believe it, if you get me. You are a prophet. And you could prophesy your life whichever freaking way you want it to be. Because it is your own damn thoughts that is controlling your whole life. Do you know that you're the Lord and Master of your destiny? Do you know as a man think it? If you understand as a man think it, and you understand the heart as the seat of your consciousness, and you realize as you think from the seat of your consciousness, which is basically your true essence, your real self, your divine self, as you think from there, which is telling you that consciousness is the only reality there is. So the fact that you have to imagine God, the fact that you have to imagine a savior, it means that your imagination was before the formulation of a God and a savior and a redeemer which they give you, make you speak in foolishness. So what happening with Israel and America and Iran is not a fulfillment and no damn prophecy as they would want you to believe. It is the expression of people's mentality, and it's been happening all along. So, my brothers and sisters, this is it. You have been creating all your life, but most likely you've been creating unconsciously. Okay, your prophetic ability has been used throughout your entire life, but it's been used either consciously or unconsciously. So the multi-millionaires, billionaires, the oligarchs and so on, those who invest in the industrial complex where they build all of these weapons and so on for sale. It's for sale. It's business. You understand? Why is business? It's mind business. Okay, your mind is the business. Okay. And when you check out these bombs, you check out these guns, you check out all of these things, they are the expression of mentality. So all of these books, the Bible, the Quran, you name it, is expression of mentality. So everything would always happen in society. So the idiots always say, oh, everything that the Bible speaks is coming to pass. It's happening. It's the fulfillment of prophecy. Hey, get rid of stupidity. Get rid of your monkey mind and get into your genius mind and learn to think for yourself. Okay? Everything in this world, there was a time when it was not, yet it did exist in a different dimension. And someone was willing to take their minds into that dimension to make it a reality. Let me explain it and break it down and simplify it a little bit more for you. For example, in my country, people normally refer to me as a stupid man and a crazy man, a man who lost his mind. Okay? And I can understand why. When you are 150 years, 200 years ahead of them, they will say you're crazy. So, like, for example, let's say you have the idea for the telephone, or for the aeroplane, or for the automobile. Say 50 years ahead are your peers, the other people. Okay? And if you read Plato's Allegory of the Cave, that's a book, eh? Plato's Allegory of the Cave, you're going to understand where I'm coming from too. Okay? Let's say you have an idea and you're going to share that idea and say, you're going to build a device that would enable you to speak to people every part of the world. And someone hear you and they're going to tell their parents and say, you know, such and such a person, you know, they start to lose their mind. They were saying that they're going to build an instrument that they could use to talk to people all over the world. And they say, Mom or Dad, what do you think? And they say, he's definitely crazy. He have lost his mind. And the reason for that, it is because they are vibrating on a frequency here while you're vibrating on a frequency up there. Let me simplify it and make it even more simple for you. Anyone who know about birds, the bird that fly the highest is the eagle. And it has telescopic and vision and so on. Okay, microscopic and telescopic vision and so on. So the eagle could stay. That's why some countries carry the eagle as the symbol, you know. Okay, so the eagle could go so high and it could see so far. But then there are other birds like the chicken hawk, the black hawk, and so on. They are family to the eagle, but they can't fly where the eagle fly. Okay. The eagle could soar the air and all of that. They can't fly that high. And with the eagle, when it feeds the young one through its mouth, so it put mouth to mouth and feed the young one. And then with the eagle, when the young one reach a certain stage, you know what the eagle does to teach him independence and to have to operate in the nature of an eagle? When the young one start to get comfortable in the nest, you know what the eagle normally does? Mash up the nest. We learn to fly, boy. You didn't born to be in a nest, boy. You born to fly. You born to soar the air. As a melanated person, you didn't born to be no slave on this planet. You didn't born here to have no beggy mentality. You didn't born here to be in stupidity. You didn't born here to compromise because you have views on the internet and you're gonna kiss Israel's ass. You understand? There's so many doing commentary on the internet, and they're afraid to speak because they're ass kissers. All of these dumb people who like to talk about Jesus, You check out the life of this man that they call Jesus, okay? Just for argument's sake and to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know that this man had 2 middle finger, and one was for the preachers, are the religious sect of the day, and the next one was for the political sect of the day. Okay? And this man had no religion. And this man wasn't friend with the state. This man wasn't friend with the religious order. This man wasn't friend with the political order. So what the hell are they speaking about? So when you really realize Israel, and you really see Israel for who they are, you wouldn't never compromise on social media for views. No, you'll never do that. And for a dollar. No, you're more than that. Yo, when Africans, because a lot of men, African people, you know, do commentary on the internet, you know, and I could tell, I could see the beggy mentality. I could hear it in their voice. I could see any little thing that I've been posted on social media. They like, for example, they just depend on Caucasian people to say certain things about their own self, but black people and this and that, and they posting up all of those shit. Oh, a white man say this. Oh, and they say that. Fucking colonial mentality they have still. And because they're making a little dollar on the internet, you understand, they do anything. So, my brother, my sisters, don't make they rub shit in your mouth to tell you, oh, this is Israel fulfillment of prophecy. No. This is the exposing of how religion has fucked up the mind of people on this planet having this human experience. And how you have to stand on your own and do not pick any side because they are the same. They're no different. As I said in a video before, that in Christianity, they will kill you secretly. But in Islam, they kill you publicly. Same fucking thing. You understand? The Bible says to go and kill all of the Amalekites, kill all of the Canaanites, kill all of these different people. And then when people in Boko Haram and these other places and so on that have been colonized through Islam and so on, when they go and do exactly what the Quran tell them to do, just like the same thing that the Bible tell them to go and do, you know, people like Trump say, oh, they're killing Christians in Nigeria and this and that. Because why? Because the Christians in Nigeria and Africa and all around the world, America will protect them with everything that they have, because that's how they're feasting off of their energy to keep the dollar going. And who is the mind behind of it? Is Israel is the mind behind of it. So I going straight to the root. In the next live, I'm going to go a little more deeper into those things and show you they can't fool me. I can't be fooled. So foolish people saying, oh, this is fulfillment of prophecy. And they quote in the Bible and fail to realize that the Bible, it couldn't be written without the mind of man. And who are these men? They're right. The Bible, are they any different than you? No, they're not different than you. They're just writing the experiences of the mind in any society there is. Because there is only now. So there's no such a thing as Jesus was. If you're going to say Jesus, you have to say Jesus is. And doesn't matter which name you call the intelligence. Okay? You have to realize that all things were made by him, and that him is not a person, that him is not speaking of any special unique man, that him is just a representation. It is just a symbol. The world run by symbol. The world has a secret language of symbology. And so a lot of people been taking symbols for persons. In other words, they've been taking personification for persons, and they've been taking allegory for history because they do not understand the power of the mind, their own psyche. Your psyche. Psyche, prophecy, same thing. So the more people vibrate and saying Israel and prophecy, they're strengthening Israel and they're giving Israel their capability. You understand? So Israel is feasting off the energy of those who would have give themselves to their theology. And when it comes to Islam, they're doing the same thing. That's why in every society, okay, there is religion. In every society, there's a school system. In every society, there is a political system. In every society, you're seeing the similarity. Okay? And then in every society, there will be a man, a woman like me. And we are very few. Okay, in numbers. And when you check the history of the church, and when you check the history of any religion, the people like me, they hunt them down and kill them, But we are always coming back. They can't stop the energy. The energy just transmute and come back in another body. Yeah, man. I know I talking, I know I talking. So don't get chick when they talk about fulfillment of prophecy and Israel. This was written in the Bible and this and that. No. What they do, they put things in the Bible knowing that it is mind science and that it must happen. Everything comes from the mind. Bro, once you unlock that everything comes from the mind, you yourself could write a book and you could speak the future. Anybody who understand how the mind works, years ago, I know you could have cars that could fly. Years ago. That is why all of the people, like melanated people, all of the religious bodies that they tie themselves to, they either start by some white man or some white woman. Because they understand the esoteric interpretation of the Bible, okay, and not the exoteric. They give melanated people or black people and other stupid people, even their own people too, okay, they give them the exoteric interpretation. So they have them looking on the outside. So that is your mind be switched the other way around. So you put in the cat before the horse. That's what happened. They just switch thing around. You just have to switch the whole thing around, just switch it around. So Israel is using Christianity to hide their atrocity. Hitler didn't know it. Yeah, Hitler didn't know it. You see, a lot of people talk about Hitler, but they never listen to no speech from Hitler, Hitler realized that these people, that they were parasites. Yeah, Hitler realized that they could come into your country and drain your country and make your people poor while they live and prosper. Yeah, it's set up in all the country, in all of the Caribbean island. Check out the ruling classes. You see, is the Jews. They leave their seed everywhere. How they do it? How were they able to colonize? Okay, countries and people saying, well, oh, we speak in English because we've been colonized by the British. We speak in Dutch because yo. If you check it out, you realize Israel is the mastermind behind the whole thing. These fucking Jews. Hitler, when your eyes open, you see through them, Yeah, wait in the shadow on me. I could see through them. They know I real, They know I real. They know I real. All these rabbis. Why you think I laughing? Why you think they try to tell you the black man who teach Neville Goddard and all of this kind of shit? Because they realize people waking up. They have to have a war. You understand? And this war ain't gonna stop. You think it gonna stop? Who gonna submit? Who gonna submit to be the slave? Nobody gonna submit to be the slave. You understand that way gonna be a war? And the Africans, when they wake up and realize they have the wealth that the world needs, then they're gonna understand why Trump make a move in Venezuela. But I'll leave that for the next when the next live are going into those kind of things. You understand what I'm saying? Bro, when you wake up and you realize who Israel really be, when you really know who Netanyahu and them really is, bro, when you really see them, you understand? And this is not me picking no side, because it's the same thing, okay, on the side of Iran and the Muslim countries and the Arabs and so on. But as a people, as a melanated people, those who partner you and help you, you have to remember where they partner you in certain way and where they help you. Willing to release people in 1979 from Iran, the supreme leader, and he allowed black people to go because they know they have a black side of Iran that they hide in, bro. we the real indigenous people on the planet. Fuck. The people really think they can really fool we. I'm glad I don't quote books and talk about elimination and all of these things like where Billy Carson could quote. You know, what I mean, no harm to the brother. You understand? No disrespect to the brother. I just said. You understand? I'm being quoted. It just basically a sense inside of me that open. You see, when your eyes should go to another level because you have melanin. You think melanin is just for complexion and skin and all of that. No. I call it the invisible fluid. Let me share something with the Israelites, the so-called Israelites, right? To hide your identity as Israelites, you know what they do? And to hide your identity as the true Pharaohs. They tell you the Pharaohs enslaved the Israelites. No, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. You know, the real indigenous people, Egypt and all that, Nubians or whatever the name and so on, the people are still around, a little bit of them. You go Thailand, you go all those places, the black people still in it. Yes, it could be a little bit of them, they might live a little bit in the woods and all of the original people. So don't make Israel and America and all them full about prophecy and all and tell you that we live in a God-fearing. Why fuck I should fear God? There's no God that I fear. Which God would want my worship if he omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent? If there's such a God and that God want my worship, I tell that God, go fuck yourself. Plain and straight. No, there's no God who's that powerful that wants your fucking worship. Why would God, such a God, wants your worship? Why? What's the reason? It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely no sense. If you have a thinking mind, they want to keep you so distracted that you don't get to think. Because when you really start to think, and you start to really see who Israel really is, you would realize you can't even come on the internet and I don't give a fuck. I always say free Gaza. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The people leave black and they return white in Israel. How the fuck that happen? Somebody make that make sense for me, please. Somebody make that make sense for me, please. I want someone to explain to me how the richest continent on this planet, which is Africa, that has all the gold, has all the diamond, has the oil, have the rubies, have all of these precious things, even with the animals, all of these exquisite animals and so on, these safari and all of these things. How they end up being so poor? How they end up being so broke? You realize is that they use a book. Yeah. To shift the people's mindset from their true self to look on the outside. And who you think is that? Whose agenda you think is that? Israel. So what they do, they have the people saying, oh, Israel is blessed of God. No, Israel is cursed. Fuck, you taking your blessing and you giving your blessing to the cursed one. That's what you're doing, they're checking you. Boy, Israel check the wall. When the wall wake up and realize they've been checked by fucking Israel. And they reverse the course. Israel been keeping the wall under course. Israel been keeping the wall under spell. The Jesus spell. Bro, when you wake up and you really realize this thing, bro. You shit and spit on the black churches, When you see they jumping up and down in church. You remember in the big scam they make? I used to go next to a church and laugh whole day, whole morning, with people with masks over their fucking face, say they're singing and clapping to Jesus. You know how stupid that is? Bro, when you see the wickedness of these people who they call themselves Israelites and call themselves Jews, bro, when you wake up, and you see them, you're willing to give your life for the truth. You put your life on the fucking line. You don't care about going to Hollywood. You don't care about that. You don't care about getting millions of views on the internet. You don't fucking care about that. Why? Can you wake up? You're free. Bro, when you realize, okay, that No country in this world has really been colonized. It's the minor people that has been colonized. And you understand that Israel is tied to the Vatican. And you understand the whole system and how the system works. And then you chase right back to the plantation. Like, for example, the people in the Caribbean who like you talk about, oh, we colonized by England. England does have you hesitating certain things at school. No, than an England program. England get a program from somewhere else. But all of them are Europeans. You catch the thing. All of them come in Caucasus Mountain. All of them are Ashkenazi. These Ashkenazi people. You come from must be Poland somewhere there, you know. They give yourself a different fucking name. Steal identity. Stolen identity. Bro, every time I look at the earth, where our food and everything come from, where all the minerals come from, where all the oil come from, where they're fighting for, I look at gold. And when they start to print money, they remove it from the gold standard. And that was a big mistake. And then they start to buy all the gold out of Africa and tricky Africa and them. Because they have Africa have a bunch of fake leaders and puppet and string. You know, that's Caribbean too, you know. Who afraid to die when death is fucking inevitable? The day man wake up and realize that whole of Christianity is based on fear and control. And they realize Israel. Boy, when I really, really think, you understand? And I look deep within, I realize, boy, Israel has been causing black people all along. Israel been enslaving black people all along. They call themselves Israel, eh? They say them is ISIS, Ra and El. They say so. That's what they try to say. Man, when you see these people, when you see through these people, and are you gonna say, oh, Israel, the God chosen people? And you say, oh, Israel. The reason why I'm saying all these things, when I was growing up as a little boy, and these were things that we were told, you know, that Israel have the strongest air force in the world. That we were told. I remember when I've been trained, I was trained for this, okay? And I was listening to a man at night and not knowing who the man was. I have no clue who the man was. And I was told to lie down and I would get a dream. Okay, and that's when the black man with the Ethiopian feature walk out of the fire, that the burning bush that doesn't consume and speak to me and give me my commission. And I didn't really understand at the time. And then I end up and I listen and follow this man from Jeffersonville, Indiana. Okay, for 7 years, until when it was 7 years. Okay, because I was told to go there until, and I go there. That knowing I was being trained, right? And this white man, he was trained by the KKK and the Masons, okay? As a matter of fact, he was trained by a man who was the imperial wizard for the KKK. That man name was a man named Roy E. Davis, okay? Yeah. And the reason why they get to train him is because he had an accident. He was accidentally shot when he was 14 years old, okay, on a hunting trip. And they take care of him and so on and all of that. And that's where they start to use. He had a little gift too, and they use him, okay, to brainwash people in Africa and around the world. And so that night, before I met that man, okay, many nights I would go to bed and I would hear the man, but I can't find the man. I find myself in a wilderness. That's how I know there's chap your soul, you know. That's why I know that the fucking soul chapping is real. That's how I know. And I've been searching for a man night after night after night in dreams. And then the night when I found him, it's because I went ahead of him, but I didn't know I was ahead of him. And when we meet face to face, the man was shocked, you know. Yeah, he was shocked. He was young again. And I shook his hand. And when I shake his hand, I realized it's exchange of energy. I take back the energy, you know. You see, notice when you try to ask why I shake his energy, they steal it. I go shake people's hand. They must watch Cherry. Yeah, always face. Yeah, man. When these people leave this place in America where they have the headquarters, trying to remember where they have the headquarters, okay? These Mormons, okay? That they have the headquarters in the same place where they shoot this guy, Charlie Cook, however his name, okay? when they come down here and they try to give me hand to shake, because anytime I try to show them certain things and so on, they used to give me the hand. They used to say, I face. Yeah, even if I see Charari, Abraham Charari and all this man face. I face. And shake hand, take the steal energy. Okay, you see your middle hand, there's certain things about your middle hand. Okay? Yeah, man, a lot of energy did it. The transfer energy take place there and all of that. That's why in churches, what they're doing, they're transferring energy one to another. That's why all of them keep saying the same shit. So it's like I take a load of shit, you understand? I rub it on your lip, and then you go and kiss someone, you rub it on their lip. That's why you see this when they give the so-called communion, there's a one cup and everybody drinking from the cup, you know, some church and they wipe off the cup and so on and all of that. All of you drinking from the same cup. That's what they've been doing. So yeah. So that's how I know there is a soul chap. And they have you going wrong, and you keep coming back here being a slave. You keep coming back here being stupid. So they keep this experience on this planet on a system of master and slave, because this life itself is master and slave. Your mind control your body. You want to take a shit? You the king of England, the queen of England, so-called. Remember that, okay? And remember the Epstein file, the boy Andrew too, and the boy, the other boy, all the boys and them boys, okay? That is how we children are bowing down and waving flag when they're coming down in these parts here. Go do their rituals, come planting a tree. Where's a ritual they're doing? Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, I break my line of thoughts. I try to get back my line of thought. Okay. Just to prove that we is energy, vibration, and frequency. You break your frequency, you have to get back and your frequency. Okay. But as I was saying, they've always had this agenda all along. Okay, and people have been falling for the agenda and saying it's the fulfillment of prophecy because they do not understand their own mentality or psyche. Okay, they do not understand as a man think it. So is he. When you really understand it, you realize that thoughts become things, and we definitely become what we think about most of the time, whatever you focus upon. You understand you have a reticular activating system. Okay, and you understand, you know, your whole body, chemistry, physics, all of these things are just a replica of what is taking place in your body. You realize a computer, everything that happens in a computer, everything that happens in a flash drive, everything that happens with Wi-Fi and all of these things are replica of you. So to put it in simple layman terms, your body is like a supercomputer. Okay, and unless you tap into your supercomputer, you will fall for the lies. And as I come to a close here, and then I'm gonna read the comments and so on, okay? I have another life to do. You would realize that one old man, or two old man, or three, however, and these are old men. Netanyahu old. Trump old. These old men, okay, for a very long time, they had the desire, okay, and they put action to the desire to rule and to be in control of their empire and to expand their empire. And now you're seeing the expression of their mentality, and then you turn around in your stupidity and call it prophecy. They get into your subconscious mind and program your subconscious mind to look outwardly and to believe in secular Christianity or whatever religion. Okay, I'm just mentioning based on where I grew up. Okay, but the same thing in China, the same thing in Russia, and so on. That is why when Putin when evolve and show a black image, many people miss it. They miss the message. It went over the head. The thing Putin was talking about a man on the outside. No, he wasn't talking about a man on the outside. Okay? Putin was basically saying, black people, remember us. When he was down, at least we put we pride away. Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. But people can't get it. People not reading it. People not understanding it. Because they're so chopped up and tied up with this whole Jesus bullshit and believe there was a literal man who exists thousands of years ago that they can't see the man that exists right now. They never experienced the oil that is the base of their spine. Me talk from experience, bro. You think that high above the pyramid with people today always say that they can all that think anybody could fool me? They nobody high. You trace that all the way back to Egypt. You trace that all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia, all back to the Nile Valley. And they put it away on the money. Because the man who have that experience, he can't be controlled. That's why I can't be controlled by money. I can't be controlled by fame and popularity. I cannot be controlled. I'm at a higher level than your presidents and your prime ministers. I heard a Ghanaian president was talking to a YouTuber named Woodamaya. Okay, and you can check it out yourself, you see. And he keep referring to the white man as his ex-slave master, something like that, colonizer, and so on. They keep saying that, and they keep speaking the language. And it's because of the way how they were schooled. Because of the way how they were schooled. So you cannot break that spell unless someone first break that spell through a divine experience. And because the law of reproduction is that every seed and every species must and will reproduce after its kind. If what I'm saying to you is true, that I do broke that spell, and I did come out of this empty tomb, and I did have the real virgin birth experience, and I know that I am God in flesh, and I know that we are the original indigenous people of this planet, and all these things are true. The fact that I'm here and I'm sharing it with you, it can never be stopped. Whenever I leave, someone else gonna wake up, and others 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 gonna wake up. You see, our people will have backyard cooks and barbecues and these things, and when they talk about baseball game, American football game, NFL, this, that, NBA, and all of these things are run by these fake people, these fake Jews, and run by Israel and all of them, right? They talk about these things instead of they speak about the ancestors. Speak about the ancestors. Get to understand and know about the men and women who rose up among you. Okay? Speak about the Marcus Garveys. Speak of how the Caribbean have been producing some of the most brilliant and enlightened people that ever walked the planet, but people cannot see it because they believe Atlantis was some far away place. But down here they say the great and lesser Antilles, because they don't want you to know the Atlanteans live down here. No? Okay? And so what they did, they took some of the people from down here and they carried them in America too and put them in cotton field. They try to split us up. That's why if you get caught up with false identity and nationality, you feel, oh, we're more intellectual. We do know, because you have access to library and this and that, and we get access to nature. We walk bare feet as little boys. We walk naked. We are in the sun. We move closer to nature and everything and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? So, my brother and my sisters, don't make them fool you when tell you about Israel and prophecy and this and that. Don't make them fool you. Okay? Accept your prophetic self, which is your real self, and cause Israel. Yeah, cause Israel. You see, let me come talk close here, right? When the people in Iran, millions of them chant and say, death to Israel and this and that, they spell the casting. Yes. And then when the people in the West who've been brainwashed, especially our people, I mostly don't speak to our people, I speak to everybody, right? But that's why our people get it, because they're the most enslaved people, right? When they say, God bless Israel, and Israel got chosen people, they can't spell too, but they're giving away their power. You know what the Africans brainwash and brutish in church today? We mega preacher with 2 and 3 jet. And they calling them papi and all kind of thing, or they brainwash. So, but my brother, my sisters, cast the right spell over your life and stop giving your power away. Okay, I'm gonna read the comments and I'm definitely gonna close this live. I really want to thank each and every one of you for your participation. Okay, those of you who understand what I'm saying, it is good that you have the deep inside of you that could respond to this deep. Okay, and if you really want to go deeper into these kind of teachings and so on. You can check out my books. They're available on Amazon. You like to have a talk with me, you can do that. You like to support this work, because if you really check out my channel, you see, okay, I don't make money from YouTube or anything like that. Okay, they would do anything to slow you down. Okay, because you see, they want to keep you in financial slavery. But when you understand your mentality, how your mind works, they can't stop you. Okay, so if you're a person who wants to support this work, I'll definitely encourage you to support this work. We have a Patreon. You could support on Patreon. You have PayPal. You could support whichever way you want to support. Okay, you want to comment, you want to share, but this knowledge need to be shared all around the world, and people in Africa need to wake up. Okay, and start giving their energy away, talking about prophecy. Please, people, like up the things and the respect. Okay, thank you very much for that comment. Someone say, bro, are you a? I can't, I can't recognize that sign there. Okay. Someone say, to be honest, right now, I try not to give any attention to the war because that's what you will attract. That's not really necessarily so. You have to pay attention to the war with the right mindset, that everything starts within. And these things are used as propaganda and distraction. But you have to know what is going on around you. You can't run away from what is going on around you. It just this commentary remind me of people who think that to be woke mean to be broke. Though I'm not a fan of Billy Carson, I definitely dig the name of that book. I never read it, but I don't get the message of it. And it is true. Okay. A lot of people believe to be woke mean to be broke. You understand? And like for example, there's a lot of men like in the Caribbean who call themselves Rastafarians and so on. And they like to talk about Haile Selassie from Ethiopia. But Haile Selassie was a very, very rich man, while the poor, broke, and miserable, and want to change the system while they're still depending on the system. So, these kind of hard truths, people just can't deal with them. Okay, so there are people who think they're so spiritual that they don't want to listen to these things and check out these things. No, you have to check them out. Okay? And that's why some people want to speak against the Bible instead of they learn to unfold it and use back reverse psychology. You use their own sword. The number one thing is when you take a man's own sword and chop off his neck. And they give you a story like that, and you don't realize the story is about them. They are always using a parody and the masses don't recognize it's a parody. They use it. Everything is the other way around. Someone delete this here. Someone say free who, you have to free yourself. Okay, there's no one to free but yourself. Okay, there's no one to change but yourself. Okay. Someone say in the past because of colonialism. There's no past. Colonialism is now. And colonialism is not a people coming into your country and use weapons and fight a war and then control the people. It's not that. No. You see, it is the mind. It's all about spirituality. All the wars have always been spiritual. The agendas have been spiritual. They check us. School and everything. So in school where they educate you about colonialism, when they educate you about slavery and all kind of thing, you've been miseducated. A man wrote a book called, I think it's Carter G. Woodson's his name, 1933, called The Miseducation of the Negro. Yeah, a lot of our people have been miseducated. And you can't speak to them, See, the academics, they know everything, because they believe they've been educated. A real educated man is a man who knows to draw out from his experience and use it to get anything and be anything that he wants to be in this world as a free man. Okay, so not until you free in your mind, you're really free. Okay, so colonialism is not, oh, the English came and they fight and they cannot, no, they trick you. But nowadays, you see, people are saying, but nowadays, no, you see, still living in time. Time ain't real, bro, because of your wars with each other. Ah, come on. All of that is baby food you're talking about, man. You have to go higher than that. You have to go higher than that. Trust me. Someone say, fuck the system. Okay? And to really fuck the system, you have to be in control of yourself and understand the system. Okay? Don't let the system control you. You run the system because you realize how the system come from one place. And once you understand, okay, and you go and you cut off the head of the snake. That's what I'm talking about. You go to the root of the thing. You see, most people fail to realize the love cause and effect. You cause everything happening in your life. So people look at the effect and they get trapped in the effect. Why do you think people saying, oh, this is fulfillment of prophecy and Israel prophecy? Because they're not seeing the cause. They understand what's going on. Israel blind them. And those on Islam side too. They blind them. Our religion is to blind you. Okay? Someone says here, Israel is blessed. You see? That's someone who's giving the power to Israel. That's someone who have been captured. He is a prisoner of war. He's still a prisoner of war. And he doesn't know it. Okay? You don't know nothing, obviously. Okay? You see, he knows everything. But I can tell you, when you become a self-realized being on this planet, you would realize how much you do not know. And so you keep expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding, thinking for yourself, and more thing being revealed to you. And then you find yourself hooked up to a super internet connection. And then your conversation will upset others who are not on that same vibration or that same frequency. Okay? The fact that this person say Kingston, Telly, you know what I mean? Maybe you have some Jamaican background and there's a lot of ignorance in Jamaica. No wonder why, if you check the people who run and own Jamaica, it's not really the Jamaicans. You see, Jamaicans focus a lot on going to school and school system. Okay? They focus a lot on that. Okay? You have to tell them the truth. Okay? Someone says here, oh, that same person, okay? Check your sources. You see? These are the people who just speak a lot and comment a lot. They say empty bar make noise. Which source are you gonna check when you are the source? So you have to definitely check it yourself, okay? Because if what he's saying, right, is what the people need and he have the light, then he should save Jamaicans from the political system and the religious system by giving himself, okay? But when you have these cowards behind a phone or behind a computer, what else do you expect? You understand? This little pussy would never show his face. You understand? And try to debate me with what I'm saying. He's such a coward. Okay? You say based on lies. And then he going to turn around and say, thank God, no one black person will listen to this. You see? This person who lack the understanding of himself, he is giving thanks to some entity on the outside. You see the ignorance? And when it comes to Jamaica, there have always been two sets of people in Jamaica from the plantation. For example, what I'm going to say here, it's never written in the history books, okay? Because it is the European story they give them, okay? And they think they know everything. There was a fight in the Blue Mountain. Yeah, I could say it because I was there, okay? And this English general and the mystic of the time who hid a secret. They man, the secret in the Blue Mountain still under the Bowley tree. There's a secret hidden here too in my country, under the Bowley tree too. They can't fool me, bro. Okay. In those days, we used to settle the score through a boxing match. That why you think they had a fight with Mayweather and the boy from Ireland, I think from Scotland, Ireland, one of those places, McGregor. People who, you see, when you're dumb, you understand that's why they had the fight. They really wanted him also to defeat him. But yeah, but anyway, we settled the score. But we used to fight with one hand behind the back and back to the next hand. Okay? And when the English general get knocked the fuck out with one hand and he fell unconscious, and my men had guns pointing to his men, and his men had gun pointing to my men too, and those guns were guns that we cut from them. Okay, because we in the Blue Mountain we used to smell them. You could smell them. The white man carry a certain smell. Only people who are spiritual could know that, know the kind of smell it is. Okay, I could smell them from a distance. Okay, you smell them, and so when that took place, the people who were there pointing their gun with the general wasn't white people, was black people like you. Yeah, your own people that look like you. That's why you don't tie yourself to no kind of race. There's no such a thing as really race when you understand consciousness. Okay, don't make them fool you with that. Okay, because you're a spirit and you're just having a human experience in a body. Okay, but based on the body you're having that experience, there's certain things that you can have, like the melanin and so on and all of that. Okay, but anyway, and when he came back to consciousness, I held his hand and I lifted his hand up as if he was victorious, because I'm a true leader and I know how to respect a leader too. Okay, and my men row in victory and his men row in victory, and they went back to the plantation and they used a lie. They said they won. So that's why Jamaica will always be divided. Don't make nobody fool you. So this asshole coming and the live and chatting. Yes, I put this bitch in the place. Okay. I put this bitch in the place. Okay. The little pussy old boy. He can't test me because what I stand for is the truth. So he said, what? Russia pay me, boy. I can't be bought a soul. The fuck you talking about? My man non-dual God with it. Okay. He said, this Kingston man is a real, man use one of them dumb Jamaicans. You have plenty intelligent Jamaicans, okay? Those who come from the same kind of a cloth that I cut from, man. You understand? It's a little bumbo clad, pussy clad, little bitch hiding behind. Challenge me on the internet. Challenge me. Zoom. We do it through Zoom. Let me do it through Zoom. Okay, let me just read on these comments. Someone say thanks. Someone say, I can read all of his comments and they say, you're all dead men walking. You see? He talking. You see? Full of shit, man. You'll see. Oh, so funny. Come on, man. You like to hear yourself, man. What's up, God? Come on, let me. And someone delete their comment. Someone said then I mean, I'm glad for all the comments he make. He said, long live Israel. Man, really bite the bait. He took the line sinker, everything. Okay. People like that, you just have to, take a deep breath. You understand? And you have to understand, he went to school, you know what I mean? And he was taught that from a little boy. Say praise in the morning, devotion to Jesus. And that's Israel set up the school program in the Caribbean too, right? You have to understand that. The CXC and the CPEA, they used to call it common just vaccinate the children. Yeah. Anyway, I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's why there's vaccinate the children. Okay, it's to slow them down. Yeah, man. From ever waking up to come to consciousness. But this guy from Jamaica, he ain't gonna know that. He wouldn't know that. So you can say, oh, long live Israel. You think they love you, eh? You boy, wake up. Yeah, okay. Someone said, give thanks, keep up the love, my brother. Thank you very much. Okay, so I really, really want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I want to encourage those of you who are willing to support this work. If there's any book that you can donate, I normally collect books. If you want me to provide you with a wish list that I have with books, you can, let me know. You can email me and you can, send a book. You understand? Because I want to make sure I keep a lot of, knowledge in books for people. Because they say if you want to hide something from some people, put in a book. Okay? This Kingston man, I don't know where book he reads. He don't even read. Even Bible don't read. That's why he talk about, oh, Israel forever and all kind of shit. Long live Israel and all of that. Giving the energy to your own enemy and don't even know the same enslavers. You don't even realize it. Them one of the enslavers. You know. I'm saying this as I come to a close, right? You have to really go real deep, you know, and really wake up, you know. See, you have to be seriously wake up to really realize that then they tell you your country was colonized by Britain and this and that, and they tell you get independence. It's not true, you know. It's not true. It's a hard saying. This is a hard saying for people to accept, and it's not true. They tell you Barbados cut away from England and all that. Not true. It's the same school system going on. Why they have the CXC headquarters in Barbados and all of that? But people need to wake up. So, my brother, my sister, I really want to thank you very much, and I will definitely encourage you to check me on my other live on my Black Maguru channel. I still gonna be talking more about the war and go into more deeper stuff and show you what is really going on this planet and why you need to equip yourself and understand that the Bible is mind science. Understand all religious book is basically mind science, and how you have to take control of your mind and don't make no one else control your mind for you. Basically, that's my main message. Okay, I'm just pointing to believe in yourself. If you can't believe in yourself, no one can help you. Religious people like to talk about blasphemy. The only blasphemy there is self-doubt. Self-doubt is blasphemy. No one can help you and no one can save you if you doubt yourself and you fail to believe in yourself. That's the only blasphemy there is. Don't make nobody fool you. Okay. So, my brother, my sister, I just want to say peace. Love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And check me out on my other live on my Black Mad Guru channel. I'm out.